Welcome to the Academic Writing Amplified podcast. On this podcast, we believe that the culture of academia needs to change radically. Women and non-binary people are revolutionizing academia within institutions that were not built for us. If you're ready to reject the culture of overwork, kick guilt and overwhelm to the curb, and amplify your voice to make a real impact on your field without breaking down or burning out, you're in the right place. With our team of experienced writing coaches as co-hosts, we'll share insights and talk to inspiring guests to bring you the practical strategies, systems, and mindset shifts you need to find time to write, publish work you love, and design your career on your terms. And it all starts with writing. Let's go. Hello, it's Kathy, and I am here to help you plan your summer writing. That's what this episode is all about. Before we get started, though, I want to let you know that if you really want to get some writing done this summer and make your writing better forever, like have more publications forever, I would love to have you join our Navigate Your Writing Roadmap summer session. We are taking applications now for our 12-week summer program that will help you write and publish more for the rest of your career, because it's career-altering work, I'll just say it. So Navigate helps professors with a disruptive perspective on their field to publish their backlog of papers so that their voice can have the impact they know is possible. That is our program promise, and we would love to have you join Navigate for the summer. We are accepting applications now. All right, let's dig in. I have 5 steps here to share with you about how to plan your summer writing. You know that I love a plan. And without a plan, I think, especially for summer writing, your high expectations will come crashing down if you don't have a good implementation plan and a very realistic plan. That's the other thing. Creating a realistic plan is really important to your writing mindset, and it's going to help you maintain momentum over the summer as you write for publication this summer. So I have a 5-step writing plan. And if you are ready, I will start with number 1. The first thing to do is to mark up your calendar. So you got to get out your calendar for the summer and start annotating it so that it realistically reflects what really will happen in the summer. So a lot of times we think, oh, well, I'm not teaching, so the summer's just blank. But the summer is never blank. So you need to mark up your calendar with what is actually happening in the summer. So for example, for me, I will put all the kids' different summer camps and activities in there. I travel for work. My husband travels for work. So there's lots of different things kind of going on and a lot of moving parts in the summer. So I want to make sure that my calendar accurately reflects all of those things. If I need to drop off a kid at a certain time, pick them up at a certain time, all of that is like accurately reflected in the calendar. So I can see that I might feel like, or I imagine that in the summer I have these long days where I can write for 8 hours a day or something, but that is never really true. So I want you to make sure that you mark up your calendar with what's actually happening in the summer. All right. That's number 1. Number 2 is to block your writing times. So after you have figured out like what does the summer look like, make sure you put some rest in there, vacations that you're going to take or anything like that. That's all in your calendar. Then you kind of look at the calendar and you start to block writing times. Now, blocking writing times during the summer, if you're not teaching, right, but you have other activities, but teaching isn't one of them. Blocking writing times is a little different than trying to do it during the semester when you are usually like having to plan around teaching and committee meetings and that kind of thing. One of the reasons that we think we can get so much more writing done in the summer is because in general, this is not true for everyone. And, you know, with the current economic situation, many of you are trying to take on summer teaching. But in general, at least we have the idea that our teaching load is going to be less in the summer and that our Our committee work, like our meetings load, is also going to be less in the summer. So sometimes what that makes us do is say like, oh, I just all day, I can write all day. Also not true, or also setting yourself up for dashed hopes. I guess I want to say, I don't want to say failure, but like your hopes will be dashed if you think like, oh, my kids are at camp from 7:30 in the morning to 3:30 in the afternoon, so I'm going to write for 7 hours. Like, no, nobody writes for 7 hours. So you need to figure out what your writing times are going to be. You can listen to some of our former podcast episodes that talk about how you create really great writing sessions. Of course, a large part of our Navigate program teaches our soaring system, which is, we dedicate really like 3-4 weeks of the program to really teaching our soaring system, which combines different writing tools and techniques and teaches you how to adjust how you schedule your writing to your energy levels and how to really create positive feedback loops between you and your writing by having what we call soaring sessions, which are writing sessions that have like an energy to them, that have momentum to them, and that you doesn't feel like slogging through the writing. So you have to think for yourself, like, what are your best times for writing? Or do you want to like write first thing in the morning? Is it better afternoon? Think about what you want to do. And then I want you to lower your expectations around how much writing you will do in a block. I think a lot of us crave those blocks of time, like big blocks of time for writing. And then when we actually get them, because you actually don't like sit down and write words for 4 hours or 6 hours, you feel like you twitter them away. You don't actually use them. And so a lot of times we get this thought pattern that's like, oh, I had 6 hours to write and I procrastinated for 2 hours. Well, it's actually better, in my opinion, to shrink your writing blocks to 1 to 2 hours and then have a break of maybe an hour or like some significant break and then maybe come back. But don't think that you're going to sit for 4 hours and furiously type like that Kermit the Frog meme on the typewriter, right? Like, no, that is not going to happen. You're going to need to stand up. You're going to need to think. Sometimes you'll need to go back to reading, which is, like a dance that you might have to do this summer between reading and writing. So you want to think about that. And so I would suggest that if your main professional activity over the summer is going to be writing. So for example, you don't have teaching and you don't have meetings or you don't have lab work or field work or other things, I still wouldn't schedule more than 4 hours, 5 hours a week of writing, because I want you to outperform, not underperform your expectations. So actually in the beginning of the summer, starting small, an hour a day, or even you could use time blocking in the summer as well. You could say, well, I want to be with my family, or I want to spend time doing some activities that I really enjoy. So I'm just going to write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I'm going to have like a 4-day weekend every weekend or something like that. Like I would just say, I continue to say this, right? I said this so many times over the podcast in the last few weeks. Don't think that you're going to sit and write for hours and hours on end. And when you lower that expectation, then that guilt that can come if you are like, it's a beautiful day, and you're like, no, I said I was going to write for 6 hours, so I'm going to sit in this chair for 6 hours. And then when it doesn't work out or you don't get a lot of work actually done, you then feel guilty and you kind of have these negative thoughts. That cycle is exactly what we need to break in the summer. So really understanding, and go back and listen to my previous podcast episode, or I have a YouTube video about the relationship between rest and writing. Like if you really take that on this summer, you won't try to schedule 4 to 6 hour writing blocks. So instead, you're going to block some smaller, more reasonable amount of time. You get to decide when during the week, how many times per week, but don't go overboard. And so block your writing times on your calendar. Number 3, list all your writing projects that you want to work on. Okay, so think of this. We call these brain download activities. I just want you to sit for like, I don't know, 10 minutes with a blank piece of paper. And I want you to write down all the things that come to mind that you want to work on this summer. Set a timer, just let all the ideas come out and write a big old giant list. Get it all out of your brain onto a piece of paper. Now, the benefit of this is that once it's on the paper, you can start to project manage it. And you will also have a realization about how much it really is. And that's kind of like even the more important thing I want to happen is that you see like, oh, wait, yeah, maybe I'm not going to have time for all of these projects. But the most important thing for number 3 here is make the big list. Like just sit down and make a big list. If you are keeping projects in your head, they need to get onto paper so that you can project plan them, so that you can appropriately deal with them from a writing project management perspective. You haven't been doing this. This might be the key to making this summer different from previous summers, right? If you just hold this big like mass of things to do in your head and then are just like, I'm just going to work hard all summer to get them done, there's no realistic connection between what you have to do and the amount of time that you have to do it. You've not analyzed that connection. And this 5-step process that I'm giving you here is a process that makes that connection real. So that is really, really important. Again, would love to have you join our 12-week Navigate program. Application link is in the notes because this is exactly the kind of stuff that we work on in the program. So we teach you our writing project management method. All right. So number 3, list all the projects that you want to work on. Just a big brain download. Number 4, now you look at that brain download of projects and you're going to do what I call rank and curate. Okay. So first, I want you to look at these projects from a perspective of what is most important to me. Okay. So your ranking will be on importance. Now, you can decide to then go and do a combination of importance and urgency in your ranking, but I would really love for you to just take like a few minutes to think about of this list of projects, writing projects, or whatever projects you think you're going to get done over the summer, right? Of this list of projects, identify the ones that are really the most important to you. And by important, I mean the ones that are going to be most impactful for your career, right? Maybe you're going to be going up for promotion. Maybe you want to get a grant. What are the ones that are going to facilitate that? Or maybe one of your writing projects is a grant, right? So you're going to give that project more importance because it's going to lead to you having funding for your work. So you get to decide. You can also decide that importance is the amount of joy it brings to you. And the reason I want you to start with importance as the main qualifier in your ranking, I want you to start there because this is your summer. Like many of us are on a 9 or 10 month contract and we are actually not getting paid. And you're working over the summer, even though you're not getting paid. The reason that you're doing that work is because you want to create the assets, publications, that are the most valuable in your career. Now, in our Navigate program, we shouldn't actually be, or I think it is much more sustainable to have writing and publication happening all the time instead of just like batching it all in the summer. But if you're not there yet, because you haven't taken our program, right? Then I just think like if you're spending your precious summer time where you should have some downtime on writing and publishing, then you better make it on writing and publishing the things you really want to write and publish and not whatever else urgent thing. Now, some of you might have urgency in there and that you get to decide. You are the agent here. You get to use your best judgment and what you think is going to make you feel the best to rank and curate the projects. So let's get to the curation part. The curation part is you should really cut back the number of projects you think you're going to do. So rank them, take the top 3, and curate the rest right out of your expectations. Your expectations are so important. Like if you keep setting high expectations and missing them, not hitting those bars, those high bars that you set for yourself, you can generate this cycle of negative self-talk that is so defeating for writing. So don't do that. Instead, rank, curate out everything except the top 3 projects, and then continue to curate out number 3. Like number 3 is your bonus project. 1 and 2 are the ones you can leave in there. Like, yeah, I want to get these done this summer. And even if you want to experiment with this as expectation setting kind of exercise, only work on the top ranked one until it's done. And then if you got some extra time, if you did it faster than you thought you would, move on to number 2. But I really want you to like pull back those super high expectations and those dreamy May feelings about all the things you're going to get done. Because right now, if you're listening or watching this in real time, you are overloaded, right? You're at that moment in the semester, if you're on a semester system, right? Where everything, we call it the moment the semester hits the fan. Actually, that moment probably happened a while ago. And you are just on survive to the end of the semester mode. It's finals. It's teach the last things that you have to teach, to get these kids to be able to pass the final. Projects and committee meetings and all kinds of stuff. It's like this roar that is the end of the semester. And it clouds your vision about what actually is going to be possible in the summer. Because compared to right now, because you are mentally planning your summer based on what's happening right now, and comparatively, there's like so many fewer things on your calendar, your grades are already in, it's like a big sigh of relief. But it also needs to be relief. Like it also needs to be time that you recuperate. And so pulling back those expectations and really saying like, I'm going to bring this one most important writing project out and I'm going to submit that. And that's it. Can be really liberating. Just like accomplish that and congratulate yourself. And then if you have some time to do other things, great. But stop thinking you're going to move mountains over the summer just because your vision is clouded by how right now looks. Again, I will shamelessly say all the time, join our Navigate Summer program because that is exactly what we do. We help you take what we call your low-hanging fruit project or that project that you've been trying to get out the door for a long time. We help you build momentum in your writing by making sure that by the end of the 12 weeks of the program, you submit that thing. And we are on, for our February group, we are on week 10 and we've already had people submit their low-hanging fruit things. Like they outperformed their original expectations. So if you want some of that, then join our Navigate program. Again, application link is in the show notes. All right, so rank and curate was number 4 and number 5. Okay, number 5, and this is the most important one. Number 5 is that you're going to marry those curated projects or project with the time that you blocked. So you're going to loop back up to number 1 and 2, right? You're going to look at your calendar at the writing times that you've blocked, and you're going to adjust your expectations once again. It may help at this point to take that most important project, the one first project that you're going to work on in the summer, and do a task list. Again, in Navigate, we teach you all about this. We teach you how to estimate time to task and all of that stuff. But for now, just make a big list of everything that has to be done on that project for it to go out the door, right? For it to actually be submitted. Then look at the writing blocks that you have and then marry those two things together. Do I have enough writing blocks to actually finish all of these tasks? And then you might say oh, but you told me at the beginning of this video to cut down my expectations of writing blocks. And now I'm not going to get my project done. So I need to add more writing blocks. Adjust, but adjust with realistic expectations is what I want to happen. So again, I will still say 4-hour writing blocks every day over the summer is a lot. That is probably too much. 2 hours a day, still a lot. Every day, it's still a lot. Well-timed, well-placed, soaring sessions of writing. 2 hours a day is going to give you a lot of writing. So Just make this marriage between your curated projects and the task it takes to finish them and the actual time you have on your calendar. Remember that you took into consideration when you were blocking your writing times, you took into consideration your marked up calendar, right? The calendar that includes all the summer activities and things that are happening. So something to think about. I think it's a realistic way to plan your summer writing. And I just really want that for you. I want it to be a realistic plan. So I'll just go over the 5 steps again. First, mark up your calendar. 2, the second, block your writing times. 3rd, list all the writing projects that you want to work on in a big brain download. 4th, rank and curate your list. And 5th, marry the curated projects with the time that you blocked. Always remember to readjust as you go. Always remember that my advice is just advice and that you should trust yourself about the kinds of decisions you make, especially in terms of how much writing you could do over the summer and what projects are most important to you. I just want to give you some guidance to help you create more positive experiences with your writing and publishing, right? Based on my experience coaching hundreds of academics through these processes. So we're getting ready. We're almost at the summer. We're really excited. If you would like to join our Navigate Your Writing Roadmap 12-week program, it is a program that helps you plan your publication pipeline, understand deeply writing project management, and create these soaring sessions, our kind of signature method for repairing your relationship with your writing. And also, another really important part of the program is that we teach you kind of how to clear space in your calendar so that writing fits in the week and is sustainable and is regular, even though it doesn't have to be every day, that you have a regular writing practice and that there's space for reading and writing and thinking in your academic weeks. So if you would like to apply, we are accepting applications now. Enrollment ends May 12th. You need to be enrolled by May 12th because we start May 15th and the program runs until August 4th. You can click the link in the show notes here to get all the details about the program. And I just can't wait. I can't wait for summer writing. It's my favorite. So I'll see you inside. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you so much for spending your valuable time supporting yourself and your writing by listening to this episode. If you like what you heard today, the best way to say thank you is to hop on over to Apple iTunes and write an honest review. The more reviews, the more amazing academic women and non-binary people will find this podcast. So go write one now.